Good afternoon, everyone. Mario Quintero here with the weekly happy hour one-stop shop Facebook live show. Glad you could join us this afternoon. We have a pretty important topic here that if you're a realtor or someone who's looking to buy for the first time, the second time, or the third time, this is a very important topic, and it's the difference between a complete pre-qualification and a pre-approval letter. Okay, so I'm going to go first through the pre-qualification process and how detailed that is versus a pre-approval letter, which is worthless, useless, kind of like kissing your sister. It doesn't mean anything. So let's go ahead and start with the pre-qualification process. In a pre-qual, we're going to verify 2 years tax returns with all the W-2s, 1099s, all schedules. If you are self-employed, we're going to need to verify 2 years self-employment tax returns in addition to your personal tax returns. So we're also going to need to see 3 months bank statements of all pages of the bank statements to be able to verify the amount of money you have on hand for the transaction that you want to make. We're going to run your credit, and we're going to run it through the 3 credit bureaus in order to be able to determine what level your credit rating is at. And that's going to generate for us a 5 to 6 page report, which is called a DU. It's called a DU approval or DU ineligible. So once we put all this information in, it will give us hopefully an approved eligible. That means that you're eligible to purchase this property at that price with this much down payment. It'll give us a summary that we verified your funds to close. It will give us your DTI ratio. That is what we call debt to income ratio. And we have to hit a certain number based on your credit score and the amount of loan and the type of loan that you're going to be applying for. It's also going to tell us about a number called the household expense ratios, and we have to be at a certain number there. It's going to list the tri-merge credit report scores for each borrower. So if it's, let's say, 680, 700, 720, it'll itemize all 3 for each borrower so that we know which is the middle credit score. It's also going to itemize the debt for each borrower and the minimum payment that each borrower has to make on that debt. And that gives us a very detailed picture of our borrower, and it will be able to be used, that report, when we submit a contract offer on a property. It gives the other side, the realtor on the other side, a very clear picture of how strong this borrower is so that they don't waste the time of their seller, okay? We receive a lot of offers on our different listings, and I gotta tell you, there are realtors out there that are not getting this done prior to going out and looking at property. They're not doing this at the time that they present an offer, and then what happens is they have to scramble once they submit the offer to get this report in order to hopefully save their offer and not lose it to somebody else that was very prepared to make the offer. One of the reasons a lot of lenders or brokers don't do this from the very beginning is because it costs money. It costs money to run the DU. It costs money to run the credit reports for each borrower. And we don't view it as far as the cost. We view it as this is an investment we're making in our client who is serious about buying a property, and we want to make sure that we give them every opportunity to compete when we're making that offer. We want that offer to have as much information as possible, especially in a market like today or like we've been going through in the last few months, where there's a shortage of inventory in the marketplace. So if you want to compete and you want your offer to be as competitive as possible, you need to be as prepared as possible to make that offer. So that's why you need to be really motivated. Once you start looking for a home, you need to have all your ducks in a row, and the finances are a major key to being able to get your offer accepted, because it's the only way that the seller and the seller's agent can evaluate how strong financially you are. We recently received some offers that, the buyers were going to have about $200 left over at closing. That doesn't give my seller a lot of wiggle room if something goes wrong during the transaction. If we have to renegotiate the price because the appraisal came in lower, those things are very important, because if that buyer doesn't have sufficient funds or liquidity, the deal is dead. And then all of a sudden the selling agent and the sellers lose 2 or 3 weeks because the finances weren't that strong. So it's very critical that the finances be as detailed as possible. They be as strong as possible based on the offer that is being made for the price of the home that is being made. And we do this not just for residential. We do this for commercial. Right now, we're in the final process of doing a pre-qualification and getting a letter of intent from one of our banks that we deal with on the commercial side. And as soon as we get that letter of intent, we're going to be able to process and place an offer on a commercial building. So it's very critical. The finances is very key, and you have to be really ready when you're shopping for a home and you're going to place an offer. So once again, this information is good for both buyers, and it's also good for realtors when you're going to go make an offer on behalf of your client. So let's talk about the pre-approval letter. A pre-approval letter to me is useless and it's worthless. Pre-approval is something that is typed up. In most cases, the income taxes are not verified. They're just taken by word. The buyer tells the broker, yeah, I make $60,000 a year. Okay, $5,000 a month. They never see the tax returns. They never see the schedules. The cash on hand, yeah, I got about $50,000 in the bank. It's not verified. The credit, I got good credit. That's what they verify. Okay, what do you consider good credit? Well, it's about a 660. All right, we'll put 660. And they don't issue a DU report, a desktop underwriting 5 or 6 page details of all the finances. So it basically comes down to a form letter, which states in that form letter that the information has not been verified. The information is subject to underwriting and approval of an underwriter. So really, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time, you're wasting the buyer's time, you're wasting the seller's time, you're wasting the realtor's time. And a lot of times they give this because the broker doesn't want to spend the $60 on the credit reports and whatever the DU cost, so they don't want to invest $100 to $150 in order to give a DU, which is very critical to the process. So remember, if you're going to buy a house, a commercial property, getting fully pre-qualified is critical. Getting an approval letter, pre-approval letter, is like kissing your sister. Don't bother. This is Mario Quintero with the One Stop Shop. For all your mortgage and real estate needs, you can feel free to give me a call here at the office, 305-598-1600, or after hours and the weekends, my number is 305-588-0451. Appreciate you joining me today. I hope this information is helpful to you and your realtor. And if you have any questions regarding this process, feel free to give me a call. And as always, feel free to share this video to your friends and family on Facebook. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.